23-year-old from Huntersville, North Carolina, is at the front of this field and may race his way into the playoffs. Busch goes low, Burton blocks, he gets back up, comes to the line. Jeff, your little boy has done it.
From the outhouse to the penthouse goes Harrison Burton. He's going to join us right here in Stacking Pennies today. So buckle up, it's going to be a wild show. A lot to get into, a lot to break down from Daytona. Playoffs are right around the corner. So who's it going to be, guys? We're going to find out. This is Stacking Pennies.
Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
It tastes like gasoline, rubber, and victory.
We're just out here stacking pennies.
Hey everybody, LaJoie here alongside Ryan Flores. Where do we even begin? A couple headlines. I feel like it was a big week in terms of news. Big penalty for the 11 this week. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. Well, Wednesday, I guess that I didn't know this was protocol, but like they have to release the car from the R&D center for the team to come pick it up, and they were holding it until I came look at it. So I went and looked at it. Scoped it out. Looked like a car that flipped over. The cage was intact. It was dirty, naturally, from the in-car camera we posted. It was filled with mud and dust and grass.
Was that piece of grass still in there that you should have kept?
It was in the right side floorboard.
Did you pick it up? Keep it with you?
Well, the grass was dead. Yeah, the grass was dead. But all things considered, it did what it was supposed to do, besides staying on the ground. And I feel like I'm an innovator because they put a left or right side fin on the right side glass, the LaJoie fin that apparently didn't work.
It did not work.
They said that thing changed the liftoff speed, raised the liftoff speed like 40 miles an hour. This looks like so we'll get right into the forced flip. And we're probably going to bounce around a little bit and make you guys irritated, but let's just go ahead. 2 gets hooked into the left rear of the 4. 4 goes over like a top. It looks like a copy paste of Harrison Burton's flip from 2022 at Daytona. I wonder if it has something to do with that car being on the left rear as it's sliding. I know you had a prop, and you worked for foreseeable amount of time in the aero department. Do you have a decent understanding of what is happening?
So if you watch that, and I watch yours, and then we watch the next one, which is the 42. So the 42 spins out in the same place.
Yeah. Big lick upside down.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Mackerel.
Let's talk about that before we move on. Bro, your belts are stretched 2 inches when you're hanging upside down like that, right? What do you? The general rule of thumb's 2, but it's probably not 2 inches. How many inches is it that you're stretched?
Not 2.
1?
Sure.
That's a big hit with your belt stretched already.
Well, you're out of the seat, right? I mean, nothing on your body's touching the seat because you're hanging like you're in Carowinds on an upside-down ride, Fury, up against the belts, and then you happen to hit the wall at, I don't know, 160 miles an hour. Freaking gnarly crash, dude.
That's a big hit.
Glad Josh is okay. Walked out. I saw him walk out of the care center after the race. He looked just fine.
So where
Just
the 42 spins here, he does not.
Hang on. Before we. Okay. So go ahead. Talk about that.
He does not flip over. Now, the biggest difference, I think, between your flip, Josh Berry flips, and his is.
If you're watching on YouTube, we have a
prop,
demonstration.
But if you're going straight, right, and then you spin out, right, this is facing the wall. When he's spinning and sliding, his right rear never, is the leading edge of the car.
Yeah.
Where you and Josh Berry, the right rear crests the front of the car and is the first thing catching the air, and then it takes off. So there's something sensitive in this right rear corner area because by all intents and purposes, his car was sideways. It just was 10 degrees less spun out.
And relatively the same speed.
Yeah, so if we have a systemic big time problem that every time one of these spins out and it flips over.
Yes.
But there's obviously something sensitive about when it gets to a certain angle. Say that was at a
60 degrees,
65 degree angle, but you got to an 80 or like a 95 degree angle where you just crested it.
I don't think it went that far, but
your right rear went in front of your right front because I went back and watched it. So there's something in this area
Well, the
Their
diffuser
right
makes
rear.
a lot of downforce, so I'd imagine it makes a lot of lift when it
So
gets
once that faces the air, that must be what's picking it up. But I'm sure there is a code red trying to figure that out even more so this week than last week because we're going back to Atlanta, which is another place where this could be an issue.
Yep. I don't think the answer is slowing them down, though.
Can't be that.
It's not that. You can also chalk it up as like, hey, cars go fast in a circle, something's going to happen, and cars are going to flip upside down. That's part of the game.
I love the people that are like, fix the car. It's just that easy. Like, oh, yeah, we're doing this on purpose. We actually designed it.
The lift-off
what?
with this car is like 25 mile an hour faster with the previous car. It's just been in bad spots when it has gotten upside down.
And every generation of race car that has ever raced flips over.
Yeah.
It happens when you're doing 200 miles an hour. So everybody calm down. The good news is everybody's safe. The biggest reason that you want to keep them from flipping like that is I get nervous that you hit something with the greenhouse, with the cage around you.
Yeah.
I don't want a driver to ever lead with like the halo bar, right? That's a tough place to hit. And then obviously
the 34
the fans
was in a precarious spot. That thing was up and on Joey's hood, and it sat back down, but that would have been a huge crash if that thing goes upside down and just crowd surfs the entire field as it's wrecking.
I saw it when it happened briefly, but we were in that wreck, so I didn't really get to see it. 34 though, shades down. Oh.
It's got on the left rear stop all over.
I'm
Holy
gonna
cow.
say this. We got hit right in the door. I'm glad he's okay.
Which the door bars in these cars are. I'm gonna go out there and knock on some wood and say they're pretty much impenetrable. Those things are freaking stout, dude.
Dude, that when the 40 from the 48's view. Let's watch it from Joey's view here. Here we go.
Yep, sitting on my lap.
Oof.
Ouch.
The 48's view in car of that is crazy because he's just going and then he just sees the 34 coming at him like a tomahawk. Oh, here it is.
Right here.
It's like, oh. It looks like you're going to get hit in the like when you're in the car like that, it's got to feel like you're going to get hit in the face by a flying race car.
Well, your belts are tight, especially on a straightaway. Your belts are tight, and all you're waiting for is a little puff of smoke and somebody sitting on your lap. That's just how it goes.
I like Michael McDowell as a person, but I hate when my race car that I'm working on is around his. And for justly so, because like he races with a chip on his shoulder and he makes desperate moves.
Okay, so that transitions me to where I'm at with. Let's talk about a wreck that's been blamed on me, which kind of pisses me off, and I sent some texts about it yesterday. Who people pointed some blame at. One, it's the cool thing right now to make fun of Corey for how my year's going, and two, if anybody would have went back and watched some SMT, the 5 has caused about 3 wrecks. This being the first one. We watched the 42, watch him dump the 42. So I'm not real sure where he was going. So I have 2 rules.
Are you talking about Denny? Because I listened to Denny's podcast yesterday, and he called this the Corey LaJoie wreck.
Yeah, and I saw that. So big push from the 5 into my back bumper, and then my brake pedal was leaking down from the jump. So a couple different things going on. Whenever you're dragging brake, whenever you're dragging brake to try to stay off the guy in front of you, you use about 100 pounds, right? You're touching it like this the whole time and kind of dragging, and you're saving some fuel and all of that. From the jump, for whatever reason, my brake pedal would go to the floor. So I'm constantly trying to pump my brake pedal up to try to get some pressure to actually have some braking potential. So I have 2 rules, speedway racing. 1, don't throw desperate blocks. And the other one would be, if you're not the second car in line, if you're beyond the second car in line, you don't push until the white flag. That's just my rule, because if you find yourself in a crash, it's because you probably started at pushing the guy in front of you, then you get caught up in something, or you throw a late block and get crashed. So when I'm getting smashed, I'm trying to woe my car down with the brake pedal. The 10 gets squirrely, bounces off the 51 and checks the whole lane up, and then that was all she wrote. But a lot of factors going on. I was surprised the 5 was as aggressive as he was. Everybody was kind of trying
The 5
to
was
save
aggressive all race long, for sure. And, like, he doesn't – I don't know if he just was like, screw it.
Yeah.
I don't finish these races anyway, so I'm going to go down being aggressive. Because they genuinely have struggled at super speedway races just finishing. And he has a super fast car. So, yeah, I don't know. It looks really tough. It looks like sometimes you give the guy in front of you a straight push and it pushes them sideways.
Right.
It looks like sometimes you give them a bad push and they go straight.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. It's weird to see comers, goers, who, like, when there's people saving fuel, then that's when guys can pounce and get track position.
That's where I was at because we qualified 30, I don't know, 5th. Didn't have a lot of pace in our car, 34th. So the opportunity for us to get track position is when everybody is lined up on the top saving gas, so try to get the bottom going. The 1 covered, 10 covered, stuff got sideways, then we all crashed. So that was pretty frustrating about that.
When we wrecked with the Mike McDowell wreck, I guess Blaney had said that he was looking in his mirror, and then his face was just buried in
Dude,
the steering wheel.
it happened so fast.
It's tough, man. It's brutal. But one guy that didn't wreck was Harrison.
Before we get into that,
Okay.
I got a over-under.
Okay.
Over or under 100 light poles around Daytona.
Over.
I went and counted every one. I counted the lights.
Wait, when you were driving around 50 laps down?
Yeah.
That's what you did?
Yeah. What else is there to do?
You counted the lights?
The light poles. So there's light poles. There's 6 flag poles. And I counted the lights on top of the grandstands. So it took me like 10 laps. Like I could count sections. I'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But I went back and validated my count every so often of like I can count the corners. Okay, then I can count the first half of the straightaway. Then I added them all together. It's 132. In case y'all were wondering.
Chip Weil, can you confirm?
It is within 1 or 2 of that.
Really?
Yeah. I spent 30. That's how I kept myself entertained. When
30
you
laps.
ride around wounded at Daytona, it's like cruel and unusual punishment for a race car driver.
Yeah, it looks pretty sketchy when, especially this race, because there's 3 wide and it's not as wide as Talladega, but when the field comes up on you. Like, we caught the 40, is it the 44, the NY racing car pretty quickly, and he just bailed to the apron and, like, goodbye.
Yeah.
Let everybody go. But
Well, you can't, like, if you get caught anywhere but the backstretch, you're not in a good spot to just, if you get caught in the tri-oval, you get caught into one, like, you're thinking you're going to be Kevin LePage at Talladega. That's how you feel you're going to be.
dude, you almost did. I saw a video on Twitter.
Because when they go by you, it legitimately pulls your car to the right.
Really?
Yes, it's sketchy. Because you're going 30 miles an hour slow.
I saw one where you were on the bottom and, like, you were coming off pit road and you were kind of shaded at the bottom, and the 38 like,
was on my door.
But no, he made an aggressive move because he couldn't see that you were down there, and, like, you were kind of soft merging, and he, like, dove left.
I was splitting the line because I was like, okay, maybe by the time this pack gets by me, I can, like, blend on the bottom of 1 and 2. Yes, it was freaking sketchy.
Oh, we got it. Yeah. So the one from here is, it looks one way, but the view from the 38's in car is like, because it's one of those deals where you're not planning on somebody to be there. Like,
Start picking it up. They're coming outside. Whole pack coming outside. Stay low. All right.
see, it looks
Yeah.
from his view, it's way worse. But, yeah, you were.
Just, like, finished me off.
That would have been bad. But to the good stuff.
Yeah, to the good stuff.
Looks like Kyle Busch is going to break his winless streak, and then Parker Retzelhoff gets a huge shove to the 21. Harrison Burton is able to hold off. Man, I didn't realize, because we were running tires. We were wrecked at this point.
There was some frustrated fellas wearing some Chevrolet shirts after the race.
With Parker Retzelhoff?
Yeah. One, the 62 car may or may not be built in RCR.
So this, yeah. But this is all hindsight stuff, right? Like,
I think they told him on the radio.
yeah, but
like,
still.
don't pick.
Don't push pushed out 21 to the wind.
They said
Well, he was thinking about it
not.
here. Okay, we're in good shape. And it was like those things locked bumpers off of 2 and hit the supercharger.
It's
They
his
got a
second
little-
start ever, right?
Yeah.
So he's doing what he should do to win the race. He's got an opportunity right here to win the race.
For sure.
If
If he can
clears
clear the
8,
8, he's in good shape.
he's got an opportunity to win the race. And really, he's not thinking about
No.
pushing. He's like, okay, I'm not going to push 21 to the win off of 4,
Right.
which he gets soft off of him here now, right?
Yeah.
And like 21 gets away, but then he's like, okay, he kind of bails.
Yeah.
So for those guys, like I get that the executives are mad, but the executives also don't. They
Never
it's-
driven one.
It's man in the arena. They're the ones that
Yeah.
are sitting there like they're playing NASCAR manager, and you could just turn the dial down, turn the dial up,
Right.
move your pawn here. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
You got to put in the human factor. It's the kid's second ever Cup start.
He's
his
going
first
for
real
it.
Cup start ever.
Yeah.
Parker Retzelhoff is he's maybe the best iRacer I've ever raced against in my life through COVID. Like when we would all do those races.
Yeah, he's done a great job for Jordan in the Xfinity.
He's done it great. He's made every
Series,
team
yeah.
better, and he's outperformed in the beard car what Noah Gragson and what Austin Hill both did. Like he put himself in position to win that thing.
Yeah.
In his second ever start. It's pretty impressive for him. So if they want to be mad at him, they need to see the forest through the trees.
I don't think that they care to see the forest through the
Then
trees.
that's fine.
The forest for them is the A car is on the outside looking in for the playoffs. And that is a, I don't know, $2 million difference.
Yeah,
at
I get
least.
it. Then if the Chevy people are that mad about it, then they should have been giving them some Hendrick setups earlier in the season when they were running 25th every week, right? So like that's the trade-off there is like, hey, you're
Yeah.
a little late to the party if we're worried about it now.
Right. Well, if you're relying on a push on a green white checker Daytona gets you in, you probably missed it for the last, I don't know, 20 weeks.
Yeah, that's the only point that I have there. I'm not like there's a lot of smart people there too,
Yes.
but I mean to fault that kid for that move on the backstretch
I'm with
is pretty challenging. Yeah, I get there being. I hope that it's misconstrued and we're misunderstanding that, and that there's just a little bit of frustration there, and not like actual people that are going to be mad and alter the course of that kid's career. That's kind of what I hope.
We hope that doesn't happen as well.
So let's talk about Harrison. So Harrison, I didn't realize we were running tires. And like getting the pit box tore down. He drove that thing to the line, dude, fending off the 8 car off of 4.
Like your life depended on it, dude.
He did a great job.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in the position that everybody wanted to be, right? It's leading off of 4 with a run, just doing whatever you have to do to block the guy behind you so you win the race. Whether you're backwards, upside down, on fire, doesn't matter. What a special moment, though, for Jeff to be able to call his son across the line. Like Ned and Dale.
Lee Diffie. Hell of a call by Delete. Everybody is just loving Lee Diffie right now.
Yeah. Just a different feel for the race when you go back and look at it, listening to Lee Diffie.
Lee Diffie does a good job. Jeff Gluck said it best. It's like he saw the race already and he's recalling it. And he's got an Australian accent, which makes him like way more appealing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't have an answer.
I like Rick Allen.
I like Rick Allen too.
Lee Diffie's a little bit of a refresher in the booth.
Yeah, he did a good job. That was a hell of a race to call for the first one back in the booth, right? It's a great ending.
For sure.
But I'll say this about Harrison because I'm pretty close to the Wood Brothers fire with them, that we train with the 21. Harrison's around a lot. I was in their hauler before the race. I went down there, I stopped in there, and I got a random drug test this week, and I stopped by your bus, and I was walking back. Yeah, I hope.
You didn't get the call yet?
If I get a call, I'll be surprised at me. I walk back in the garage, and I go to... But you know what? I've never done drugs in my life, and every time I do a drug test, I'm nervous about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
Well, we all think about Jerry Mayfield. That's just who you think about.
I don't know.
That's just what you think about when you
walk back in the back of the garage. So I stopped in the 21 truck, and I was sitting there with Bullens and Jefferson Hodges just BSing in the lounge, and Harrison came up, and I said to them, "You guys gonna win today?" And that's the only reason we came here was the win. They weren't wrong, but I'll say this about Harrison: no matter what he's been through, he's had, and he'll be in here later. But he's had a dismal time in the Cup Series. It's been very challenging for him. He has never showed up with a bad attitude. He's never not had a smile on his face. He is just like infectious to be, great guy to be around. He's one of the best, like if my kid, I guess the best thing I could say is if my son grew up to be like Harrison Burton, I would be proud of him.
Yeah.
Because like he's just that good of a kid.
Yeah.
And he's that good to be around. It's tough that he's had, a tough go of it, but I'm really happy that he was able to get that Wood Brothers 100th win is special.
It's a big deal.
That is special to win with those guys, to do that. So I'm really happy for them.
Oh, his mom was there, his fiance's there, Jeff's in the booth, Eddie and was Leonard there?
Eddie and Len. I didn't see Leonard.
No. Yeah.
John.
I mean, it's legitimately a family ordeal.
Yeah, and his team's all young. Bolins, it was good for Bolins because I think Bolins, he's a little uneasy too because they haven't announced if he's going to be crew chief in the 21 next year or not. And Bolins has won with everybody he's ever been with. From the 22 Xfinity car to with Ryan in the 21. He won the 99th with Ryan in 2017. Yep. Then he won with Ryan in the 12 car. Then he won with Brad in the 2. Then he won with Austin at the Daytona 500. Now he's won with Harrison. So he's done a good job. And to watch Jeremy, like I've been part of his team and been coached up and led by him. And then his pit crew, which we'll get to later, is like all first-year guys. A lot of them have only done like 5 races. It's like they've never actually. They didn't even understand the magnitude of what they did this past week. Like they're really young, but they did a great job. And
did I see a stat, or I might have overheard somebody telling somebody else a stat that Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott also won their first Cup race in 98 races along with Harrison Burton.
Wow. Well, could be a start of something big.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't really heard much chatter on where Harry's going, but we're going to ask him here in a couple minutes.
I have, and I will let the media take care of telling that news. Couple things to cover before we get out of there from this week. Are you good on Daytona talk?
Sure.
Race,
There was
wreck stuff in Xfinity.
I think that there was one happy guy leaving Daytona, and he's going to join us here shortly on the show. And there was a lot of other people, particularly the ones around the cut line, that left frazzled and dazzled.
Yeah. Some more silly on that note. Some more silly season stuff. Zane Smith is not going to be in the 71 next year. That's going to turn into the. Well, we knew he wasn't going to be in the 71 because that's going to be McDowell. But Trackhouse with the third charter is going to be the 88.
Yep. Coming
back with SVG. So great news for SVG. Tough news for Zane Smith. What do you make of that?
It's timing, buddy. This sport's all about timing of getting in at the right time with the right people in the right scenario. And timing was right for SVG. Timing was wrong for Zane. I don't think Zane's any less capable of being a playoff-capable Cup driver. He's ran well this year. Didn't run good in the beginning of the year, which is when all the deals are starting to get talked about for the following year, and it's almost a little bit too late in the year for this good runs and a little bit of positive momentum out of the 71. New team. Timing for Zane, not good. Timing great for SVG. Proved he can get it done any road course that they go to. Gives you a pretty good chance of making the playoffs just off that. And I think that we've seen some pretty good stuff out of him. Friend of the show on the ovals as well, but it's certainly going to be a learning experience for SVG running 36 Cup races, but I think he can do it. Curious where Zane shows up. I think he is a Sunday caliber fella. A lot of chatter. Hopefully something works out for him.
Yeah, Zilich also going to the 88 Junior Motorsports car.
I thought that was announced like 3 months ago.
That was, but we haven't talked about it. So I don't know if it was announced I don't know for 3 months ago.
2 months ago.
Dude, before we get too far from Daytona, I'm going to give you a story. First off, saw Higgy on the big screen. Walked down to take a leak in between stages, and he was sitting there telling everybody not to leave because this is about to get crazy, people.
Yeah.
And he was not wrong. Daryl Mott and had Higgy up there. Higgy was just a man of the people. Left. My wife and I drove down there a couple days early. We kind of go to Florida early for this trip, but left the track. Driving home, stopped at the Buc-ee's by the racetrack.
It's amazing.
Dude, Buc-ee's right after a Saturday Night Cup race, electric, dude.
Yeah.
0 brisket sandwiches. 0 sandwiches.
No, wiped out.
Nothing. People just crowded around there watching this guy like they were at a front row concert.
Yeah.
Just cutting brisket, and he was in no rush. So I got beef jerky, which Jack Link's beef jerky, way better than Buc-ee's beef jerky. I'm going to go out
Is
there.
it?
Yes.
Well, hey, also Jack Link's official dried beef of the NASCAR Cup
and
Series.
on the 12 car. Not a shameless plug. So that was good for us. One thing that was
you
not
can't be good at everything. You can't be good at everything. So they're the best at brisket sandwiches. They're the best at making you feel good when you walk in there. Also,
Marketing.
the scent of those candied nuts, second to none. But not surprising, you don't have the best dried meat in town.
Yeah, one more thing to cover as Harrison walks in the door, the Denny Hamlin engine penalty.
I don't fully understand that.
So I listened to his breakdown of it this morning on my drive in. I guess, so you guys run motors, right? If you want to hear a better breakdown of it, go listen to Denny's explanation.
Yeah.
Once you win, if you're going to run that motor again, it gets a red seal, not a blue seal. Once you're done running that motor, then it goes to R&D.
Mm-hmm.
So he won Bristol earlier in the year. If they ran that motor, say again at Richmond, then it was coming out of cycle. It would have to go to R&D and get tore down first. It went back to California, and they cut all the seals off, and they were like, uh-oh. But at that point, it's done. So, yeah, I mean, that is
a playoff altering. That's a season altering penalty.
It is. It's huge. It's huge because that moves them,
to 6th, I believe.
Yeah, I think he might be 8th in points now. I'm not sure. Maybe in playoff points.
Yeah.
Which is tough, man. With these first 2 rounds, is literally just survive in advance. I was talking about that with Gustafson because you always get pumped up for the playoffs, but it sounds like Watkins Glen's going to be a lot of fall off with the tires they're bringing
4
there.
seconds. I heard.
Atlanta's going to be a crapshoot, and then Bristol. Like the last time we went there, the tires were crazy. Could turn it. You're one guy getting turned around and getting hit, from being out. So you kind of want to have your ducks in a row before you go to Bristol. And then when you got Kansas, Talladega, and the Roval the second round, so you're literally just whatever you can do.
Well, instead of getting too far down the road with playoff stuff, let's talk to a fellas now in the playoffs.
Let's do it.
Harrison Burton, guys, join us in the Nonsense Garage coming up right after this.
I'm Ryan Flores. Join Kim Kuhn and myself each and every week right here at Around the Track. Whether you are going to the racetrack or watching from home, we get you ready for all things national and regional level.
And we'll tell you who and what to watch for each week. Plus, we get you ready for the weekend at the racetrack, and Erica will help you place your bets to win some easy money.
Be sure to check out Around the Track every Wednesday on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
All right, guys, the wait is over. The winner, the 23-year-old from Huntersville, North Carolina, leading the pack and joining us in the Nonsense Garage, Harrison Burton.
That's right.
Everybody.
Thank you, guys.
How terrible was that lead difference?
That was awesome. I thought it was the best one. I've heard it probably 300 times. So dude, everyone yells at me now. It's Harrison Burton. And the whole family. I thought Lee did awesome, man. He was like building his little Kyle Busch story up. He's like, it's been forever for Kyle Busch.
2008, he wins it. Turbocharger.
Yeah, he had his stats, man. He's like, Huntersville, North Carolina.
Dude,
it's cool.
Well, first off, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in studio.
Thanks for having me.
It's got to be surreal still. How's it feel?
It is surreal. It's very odd. For me, just the circumstances of the win, right? Like, I'm on my way out of that opportunity. Got told earlier in the year that, they're going in a different direction driver-wise. But then while that's going on, for our team to remain kind of unified, no one pointed a finger once. And between Jeremy and I, my crew chief, have a good relationship still. In what's been probably the hardest days of my life when things are not going well. I mean, I
can relate, bro.
People get it. People don't understand, is how hard this is how much it takes, how much every duck needs to be kind of in a row for things to go well. And
there are about, I don't know, 1,000 ducks.
Yeah, it's impossible, man. It's impossible. It's something that you don't understand until you get to Cup. Even when I was in Xfinity, I thought, man, when I get to Cup, I'll run really good and it'll be easy, blah, 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 blah. Those guys that run 20th every week, they're probably not very good. And then you get there and you're racing Denny Hamlin for 20th, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is hard. And you're racing different Cup guys that have been around forever for places that you never expected them to be in. You realize how competitive it is. And now with this new car, how close everyone is. You just have to be perfect to have a chance to win these races. And it was really, really special with the circumstances of going through that hardship, remaining unified as a team, having a lot of love for the Wood brothers still to get them their 100th win, which if I left that opportunity and didn't get their 100th win, I don't think I would ever live that down. Like, that would have kept me up forever, just because it means so much to me, to them. And to have 3 years of a chance to do it and not do it would have probably just eaten me up from the inside. So really glad it happened.
Well, he's got some emotional equity there too, because he won 99 with Ryan. So I knew you were going to touch on that.
Yeah.
I think it's important to touch on what you said, at first, right? I think it's easy when teams see the end with a driver, or even like Jeremy's not signed to be the crew chief. It's easy to just kind of pack it in and have a bad attitude. And I said that before you got here, like, I've never seen you when you come drive the pit stop car, or you're around your guys. Like, I've never seen you not be happy, not have a smile on your face, not carry yourself well. And it trickles down to your team. Like, no matter what, when you get to the Cup level, if you're the driver, you have to be a leader.
Yes,
you have to figure out how you lead. And one thing that Jeremy Bolins doesn't get enough credit for is he is a very passionate leader. And he's an old school, gritty, short track guy, right? He's got some RCR in him.
For sure.
Sure. But it's funny because I look at those guys, and it's got to be full circle for you, because some of those guys worked on your dad's car, did they not? Like your car, Chief Kirk. And it's been fun to watch you guys keep working together and keep building and keep figuring out how you're going to win. Because like we said, I was in your truck on Saturday before the Cup race, and I asked you guys, you going to win today? And Bolin says, that's the only reason we showed up.
That's right.
Like you've never wavered. How hard has that been to stay focused through that all?
It's hard. The hardest thing is you get in a situation like we're in, like you said, where nothing in the future is guaranteed, right? And it can easily take your attention from what you have now. I mean, what we have and had and continue to have is an opportunity to hop in the 21 car for the Wood brothers and race on Sundays. If you told me that when I was 12, I'd be like, this is amazing, right? Like, and you forget about that whenever you're caught up in, what's happening next year, what's happening the year after that, what am I going to do, blah, 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 blah.
Or even caught up in what happened.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just forget. Sometimes you forget to have fun. And it's not something I say I've done well. It's, it's been something that's wore me down a little bit, and I've taken some of the fun out of it when you're not winning. But then on the other side, when you do win, when you do succeed, and you've gone through just the crap that, sometimes you go through in racing, and that's part of racing. It's hard. It should be hard. It makes it really, really special. So it's something I'll never forget, just that feeling of overcoming that hardship.
I think so often, especially in the sport, fans only hear when things are good, right? They only hear from the winners. Mm-hmm. They only hear from the playoff guys. They only hear from the guys that have houses on the lake and planes to fly them to and from the racetrack, right? Like, relatively speaking, things look pretty good for them. Mm-hmm. Rarely do they talk to the Harrison Burtons when the team goes a different direction. The Corey LaJoie when the team decides to go a different direction. There is a level of like let down and like depression that sets in.
No doubt.
And you have to fight the feeling of being defeated. So how, because you sit here 2 days removed from winning, right?
Yeah.
But you were fighting that like crawl in a hole and die feeling.
Yeah, no doubt.
That everybody feels when you don't feel like you're good enough, or even you're told that you're not good enough because they're going to get somebody else.
Right.
So how has that wrestle been for the last couple of months?
Hard. It's been the hardest couple of months of my life, probably. I mean, like you said, it's just hard to go to the shop And, you know, I remember when they first announced it, going to the shop was different. It was like, oh my gosh, these are my last few times I get to do this. And these are the last few times I work with this exact team. This is the last few. And you just start to get sad, right? Just because, I've, you know, like I said, I've got a good relationship with my team, and they've got they've stuck by me through some hard times, and that's been really fun. Not fun, but it's been motivating, I guess.
Fulfilling
for sure. That's a good word. My education needs to get better, but no, you know, it's hard to go to the shop and be a confident race car driver, right? Like what we do requires just the utmost confidence in yourself, requires the utmost confidence in your team and your car. And when, like you said, you are told, hey, you're not good enough for us next year, we're going to go someone else who we think is better. It's like, okay, how do I, A, internalize that, make peace with that, B, you know, go
not
to the
believe
racetrack.
it.
Yeah, right. You have to not believe. You have to believe when you strap in that you're the best race car driver out there.
For sure.
And that's really hard to do. Sometimes you have to fake that until you feel that. I mean, you know, for me, what was really special about the win was, we had a green-white checker. Kyle Busch is to my inside. Christopher Bell's, you know, one behind him. And it's me, who is viewed as an underdog, definitely, and probably was an underdog, and Parker Retzlaff, who's his second Cup career start in the outside row. And I could have told you that's how it was going to be, because I knew that Bell was going to choose to go to Busch because he's Cup champion, won races, and they wanted to work together. And then I knew Parker was in fourth, and he's going to come with me. I'm like, okay, here we go, underdog row, let's make it happen. And to beat those guys the way we did, to block Kyle to the end, almost crash, come across the line. I mean,
Before
it's
that,
chaos.
When you're rolling down the backstretch behind the pace car, or you know it's a green, white, checkered, everything you've ever worked for in your entire life's in front of you.
Yeah.
You know you have to execute the launch. You know you have to keep your help attached. Like, what are some things that you know, right? There's the noise and the hope and the thoughts of crossing the finish line first. But, like, where was your mind when the pace car took a left?
Yeah, it was really fortunate because I had a full red flag, which was unfortunate because someone had flipped over and had a big crash.
He was okay.
He was okay. So it was fortunate for me once they did have the red flag, because I got to sit right behind Kyle and think through 18 different scenarios. So I had a plan of, okay, if I get clear of Kyle, what am I going to do? Which lane am I going to block? When am I going to block which lane? What are the keys I'm looking for if I'm leading this race at the end? I had a plan for if Kyle got clear of me, how am I going to create a run on him? What I needed to do to the 20 car, and I was pretty convinced Kyle was going to stay committed to the help for the 20 car because he probably trusted him more than he trusted me, which really played to my favor, honestly.
Especially out of two.
Yeah, exactly. And what I needed to do to separate Kyle and the 20 car from, you know, getting the help they needed and make it hard for them to link up. And
did it go how you one of those 18 plans?
Absolutely. Yeah, until I got out front.
Yeah.
I didn't.
And you're like, oh,
yeah, I didn't plan for that. I was like, I know what I need to do to make that happen. And I've watched hours and hours and hours at the end of these races as film, and like just trying to see why guys win and lose. And normally it's the guys that can separate the guy in second from the guy in first in that line.
And then you happen to get a push at the right time.
Exactly. Like trying to time all that is really hard. So drag and break while I'm trying to side draft the 20 and like bring him back with me and then go forward. It worked out really, really well. And you know, like you said, I think Kyle, I mean, we had a really big run, so it would have been a hard block for Kyle to make anyway, but I think it helped me off turn two that, you know, I was kind of the underdog guy and he didn't trust me to push him, right? And he shouldn't, because I had a win or die mentality, and you know, got in front of him, and once I got clear, I was like, well, now what? This I didn't expect this.
Literally just out of the mirror.
Yeah, I never looked forward until I was. I felt I went across the apron because I was sideways, and I was like, oh God, and got
Let me
back
look out
up.
the windshield now. Okay.
Yeah, and then looked forward across the line and won the race. And I've never cried on a cool down lap before, but I bawled my eyes out like a little girl.
Bro, you earned that cry.
It was awesome. I hate listening to my scream on the radio because I'm like so excited, and then you can tell I start to like cry in the scream a little bit, and I'm like, oh, it sounds so bad, but I don't know.
People don't know.
Yeah,
people don't know, like, the weight that you carry of the expectations for yourself, that you feel like you're letting yourself down, right? Because how your Cup career, and mostly mine, hasn't gone how you wanted it to go from the time you were a kid.
Yeah.
The expectations of your old man, mine too, right? I feel like I relate to you really well. And to have your old man in the booth,
Yeah, that's
too. How
cool.
special is that?
It was so cool. He's like the silent assassin whenever I'm leading, man. He's just up there. He puts the mute button on his mic, I think, and just steps back. And just got to watch the race back yesterday afternoon. Like, I watched the last stage back just to experience that. And it was so funny when I won. He didn't say a word for the longest time. And, like, even Lee's like, what do you think, Jeff? Like, say something. And he's like, I can't talk. And he's all fired up. And then they let him out of the booth and let him come down to front stretch. So I appreciate NBC for letting him, kind of come out of the booth. And he was still on company hours, but he was celebrating with me. So that was cool. And, it was just really neat. Like, just because he's been there and, with your dad as well through every up and down. My dad has always been, he describes himself as kind of a hard ass, right? Where, like, he was always hard on me as a kid. He was always made me earn what I got. And all those moments really helped me through a lot of the hardships I've had where, okay, I've been through this before. I've had my dad yell at me before, and I can take criticism and move it positively. And I've relied on that a couple times in my career, and it's made me better. And then for him, he about broke my rib. He punched me so dang hard in the chest, and he's like, "That's why you never quit," and started punching me in the chest. I'm like, I get it, man. Thank you. But he had his dad strength on for that moment. But it was cool.
Have you talked to him, like, away from the track now that kind of the dust settles?
Yeah, a little bit. Just had a quick phone call with him yesterday. He drove back from Daytona. Him and my mom stayed out there, and
dude, Kim was so
she was
happy,
jacked up.
dude.
Yeah, she was fired up.
She was running. I get out of my car, and I was just like taking a lap around it, dude. And your mom, if Noah Lyles would have been running next to her, I think that she'd have dusted his ass, bro. She was flying.
Yes, man.
She was so happy. It was like that turned my frown upside down seeing your mom running over there.
Man, it was cool.
Sure.
Yeah, she has a hard time hiding her emotions, as everyone knows, and she hates when she gets on TV, but you can't help but like it just because she's so emotional, so invested. Her and my dad have put everything into me that they can to make me the best person I can be, and to get a win for them, and then my fiance Jenna and her like hugging and jumping up and down on the pit box was really cool to see after. So all kinds of cool little memories like that you just take away from watching it back.
Well, I got one more question, but you said something I wanted to go back and touch on. You said they invested in making you the best person you could be.
Mm.
That's different from being the best race car driver you can be. So why do you say it like that?
It's hard. You put a lot of value as a race car driver in what that pylon says.
That's it, bro.
You look up after the race, and if it says 10th, you're like, oh, cool, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
If it says 20th, you're like,
I kind of suck.
Dang it.
Yeah.
And you just carry that. And they've really...
Every week, man.
And it carries to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's sometimes Thursday, and then you try
then
and
you
let
go.
it
Then you
Friday.
start hit the recycle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you hope it's on the good side that week.
But more than likely, it's probably not.
Right. And it's just that feeling of that they have always really pushed me to handle things the right way. I feel like I've been raised to treat everyone the right way, and I think that's why I had a lot of drivers after the race come say hi. I had you text me. I had a lot of drivers text me. Had Bubba Wallace and Ross Chastain, who that really hurt their playoff hopes. Both came to Victory Lane. Ryan Blaney hung out with us for like an hour in Victory Lane, passing beers out to everyone, hanging out because he was number 99 and loves the Wood Brothers. And that feeling of like, I feel like I did it the right way. I feel like I've handled myself the right way, and I don't want to ever point fingers at people, and I want to internalize it, which makes it harder because that means you're looking at yourself in the mirror every time something goes bad. But it also makes it better because when you can genuinely enjoy a moment like that with the people that you've been around, it makes it very fun because they know that you have done nothing but try and support them as much as they've supported you, and it's been cool.
Yeah, that's I think you've handled this. I said it earlier. Like, you've handled this better than anybody I've ever seen deal with it. And I said, like, if my kid acted like that, I'd be proud of it. But how did you handle after winning? and last night? Were you hung over? What did it look like? Because I heard that your presser went really long, and everybody was waiting on John Wood to get back to the plane. So everybody's busting his chops, and then you guys didn't get home till like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we landed at like 3:15, and then it's like a 45, 50-minute drive to my house. So I got home at like 4:05. Walked in the door, and I had a couple friends that were still up in my house and had like put some streamers up and stuff. I was like, okay, here we go. Todd was sitting there with a tequila bottle in his hand when I walked in, and I'm like, oh boy.
What's your drink of choice?
I didn't have my drink of choice at all last night, or not last night.
Whatever
2
was
nights
handed
ago.
to you.
Whatever was handed to me. But I love, I like an old fashioned. It's probably my favorite drink.
Okay.
But
you can't really go all night on old fashioned.
No. So I had a mixture of beer, tequila, vodka, a lot of stuff. But
Todd Gillen, big what's that drink that you got him?
Oh gosh,
Shirley Temple.
Shirley Temple guy. Shirley Temple King.
Big Shirley Temple guy. But yeah, no,
I got him. I saw him at Steak 48. Did you hear the story?
No.
I saw him at Steak 48 last year sometime.
Yeah.
He was like behind me. Kelly was like, I think that's Todd. I looked over. I'm like, send him a Shirley Temple. And he was like, dude, how'd you know? I was like, no, what? I love Shirley Temple. I was like, well, I said it as a joke, but I hope you enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, no, definitely a big Shirley Temple guy. But no, he was excited. I meant a lot. Him, Sheldon Creed were both in my house just sitting there. Like, it's like 4 in the morning.
You.
Nobody else was there, but they were just like, nice. So that was cool. Yeah, and then we didn't go to sleep till like 6:30. I woke up at like 8, and then I spent that day just basically chilling out, watching the race back. Went to hang out with my sister, picked up my dog. She was dog sitting for me, so shout out to Paige. And hung out and watched a truck race at her house, and then hung out with my grandparents and went home and slept. Slept. So nice, calm Sunday after a very late Saturday night.
Well, I got several more questions, but I'm going to ask you the 3.
Okay.
And if we got time, I'm going to ask you one that's been pressing. But the 3 questions that all the guests get. Number 1, what is your first... I'm sorry. If you had to pick one car and one track to race out the rest of your life, what do you race with?
Ooh, I'm racing the Cup cars from 20... Ooh, that's a good question. Like 2014?
Okay.
That era?
Yeah.
High horsepower, high downforce?
I feel like that was post-COT.
Yeah, right, post-COT.
Yeah.
And a big... they're turning like 10,000 RPM rolling.
Where at?
Darlington.
Like a repaved Darlington?
No. Current Darlington.
Okay.
We're out Darlington. Ooh. Yeah.
I like that one. Your most embarrassing moment at the racetrack?
Oh, gosh. When I was a kid, I spun out leaving pit road to qualify for a super late model race. I was leaving pit road, and super late model tires, when they're cold, have like negative grip.
Yeah.
And so I was swerving back and forth, and I hit the gas while I was swerving, just spun out, and I was sitting on the backstretch like, oh, God. And then went back around. It actually worked out. Got more heat in my tires and went and like qualified like 5th or something, like not bad. And but I remember spinning out and just feeling like an idiot.
I plugged one of my first super late model qualifying experience at Hickory. Stuffed it in right.
I did. Well, that's another one. This was pretty embarrassing too. In practice at the Snowball Derby, plugged one in the fence.
Yeah, then you guys worked all night, put a clip on it, and the whole thing.
Made the show the next day, so it wasn't as embarrassing. It was actually cool because we made the show, but yeah, it's fun.
And then I feel like this is low-hanging fruit, but I ask everybody, if I had like the Men in Black pen and zapped all of your racing memories, but you had to keep one, what do you keep?
I'm keeping definitely on Saturday night, Daytona win, Wood Brothers 100th win. If you told me that when I was a kid that I could do that, win at Daytona, I would do that.
What about even more of a like a precise, like a 5-minute window of that night? Probably
the feeling of crossing the line. Like, that's a feeling that is, dude, so nice. Is like when you, and it would probably not be as good because all the memories of what led up to it would be zapped. But that feeling of like when you cross the line, you won the race. And every time I've ever won, I'd scream so hard in the race car, I lose my voice. This time I cried. It's just this release of just so much emotion, and just winning is just unbeatable, man. It's so fun.
Well, congrats, buddy. You
Thank
earned
you.
it.
Appreciate
but
it.
But one more question. Plans for next year?
Yeah.
Not announced. Do you have an idea of what you're doing? You nod your head yes. What is your opinion, right? There's always the age-old question. Do you go down? Do you go to something you go in races and then try to get to a B-level or A-level car? Have you always perceived that argument?
Differently at different times.
Yeah.
For me right now, I want to go somewhere I feel like there's a future of winning races. I feel like that's the biggest thing for me is where can I go that A, believes in me, wants me as their driver, wants to build around me for their future, sees a future of winning, and then, B, the series matters, but after that first one, it doesn't matter as much, right? Because all this stuff is very, very fluid. Things move. I remember when I was 16, I was supposed to be the best driver ever. When I was 18, I was the worst driver ever. When I was 20, I was the best driver ever. And now that I'm 23, I was the worst driver ever until I won.
You're 32.
And then when I'm 32, I don't know what I'll be. I might be cup champion. I might be on the couch. No idea. So I want to win races. I want to go have fun and make the most out of this career that I can and just enjoy it every step that I can, because you just never know. My dad beat this into my brain when I was a kid, and it was driving a race car is always a privilege. It's never a right. So I want to have the privilege to try and win races. That's what motivates me.
I want to ask the question everybody wants to know. Did Uncle Ward call?
Yeah, I just got off the phone with him on the way. Oh, well, good job, boy. I just wanted to say I'm proud of you and feel like you done a good job. And man, he was probably out in the field somewhere because it was a quick phone call. He was working, but he's like, I'm just proud of you, man. You've been through hard times just like Jeb, and you guys both fought through.
He's the best, man. It always had to be the Wood brothers with Virginia family at Daytona getting their 100th win. Like when you take a step back from the fire and look at the storylines, it's like, man, NASCAR always delivers.
It always delivers, man. It's sports, man. Sports are so special. Just proud to have a job being a part of the one that we're in.
Well, that's Harrison Burton, guys. First career win, 98 races in. Playoff contender in that Wood Brothers 21. Harrison,
let's go.
Thank you for jumping in the studio with us. Good luck this weekend at Darlington.
Yes, sir. You too.
Congratulations. More Pit Road Boats and Woes and some more pennies right after this.
Less than this ruler determine the winner of the race. You put him in this position, and we're having the conversation today about why did every other crew chief miss the two-stop strategy. This is Formula One racing, this is road course racing, and this is also short track racing.
You've only got to get to here, just over a carway.
Catch NASCAR Inside the Race each week on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
All right, we're back. Hope you guys enjoyed that Harrison Burton interview. That's cool. He stopped by. Big week for him and that Burton family. Before we go into Pit Road Boats and Woes, I can't even contain my excitement anymore. There aren't very many good things going on this year for me, but there is a silver lining.
Let's hear it.
There are two hills, and I'm not a fella that has many hills I die on, but I have said that there are two. It's owning an EV and wearing...
electric vehicle?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't own an electric vehicle?
No.
Okay.
And wearing a pair of HEYDUDEs. And as I opened the chest, I was still dying on that hill until they came out with these. Are you kidding me? Holy moly!
Is this an ad?
No.
You bought those?
I bought these
with their own money.
Yeah. I didn't want to buy the Kyle Larsons, dude. They have sun. They look like your bet. Dude, look at these freaking Dale Jr. Sun Drop late model. Hey, dudes, you kidding me? They aren't comfy whatsoever. I don't know why people wear these things, but these things look fast. There are Lightning McQueen Crocs, and there are Dale Jr. Hey Dudes. What do you think about them? Don't care.
I like them better than the fish that you wore here that day.
They are more comfortable than the Cotties. So they came out with these. I got an email. I scrolled through and I said, I got to have them. They are obnoxious. They aren't comfortable, but they are awesome.
I want to make you a bet some point in time, and you have to wear those to
driver intros
or driver's meeting. Something.
What's wrong with these? I'd be proud to wear these. I'd probably have plantar fasciitis if I wore them for more than a quarter mile of walking, but nonetheless, I'd be doing it in style. They say that if you click your heels together 3 times, you end up in Kannapolis.
Well, good thing we're here. So we're in Kannapolis at the moment.
And that's because I clicked my heels together 3 times. Pit road boats and woes. Let's get right into this. Now I got my Hey Dudes on. I got some. I feel just a little bit more American wearing these things.
Some would say those are fire.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who was on fire is the 99 car.
Wow.
Let's watch this. Did you see this?
Segue. I saw that thing was burnt to a crisp.
See how it started?
I'm assuming when a spark and fuel come together, it creates a large.
Show them. Watch this. You're not going to believe
large fire.
Which I've never seen.
Holy cow.
A fueling incident cause this. This is new.
It looks kind of badass.
It does look badass. But it melted.
That one guy's got a little handheld like
Applebee.
Dude, that thing burnt to the ground.
That was bad.
Holy cow.
Fuel head sticks open. Hey, do you have the overhead?
Oh no, run! Drive away!
The overhead is what we need to look at.
So then it went inside the fuel head.
So he's fueling, waiting on fuel. Denny's just sitting there. And Denny's exhaust gets over top of it and lights everything on fire. And it runs to the fuel head up there. They're all just waiting on each other.
Dude, that's like some Final Destination stuff.
That I've never.
So then it went into the fuel head, into the main filler.
It must have.
Yeah.
Or like what'll happen is that the Schultz system is a closed system, but it's O-rings. So I don't know if it melted the O-ring, right? If it melted the O-ring and then it's just keeps coming out a little bit, and then the carbon, because it's a relatively new problem in the last 3 years. Because before it was metal, it was all aluminum and steel, and it just went out. It was on fire, and then you just went, and it went out. Maybe the back bumper was Kevlar and it burnt up, but it never happened. But now that everything is Kevlar, and there's more nooks and crannies with the diffuser and the full floor pan and everything for it to get caught. But dude, I thought that they might have had a tire blow and they had a carcass wrapped around the hub, which is something that you'll see. We got something to look at there, I would say.
Oh, I'm sure they're looking at it. That thing was like a burnt marshmallow, dude.
Yeah, and like if you have your return line is a little kinked or the hose clamp is not quite tight all the way. I don't know what happened, but for it to, or you melt a hose, right, and then it's just leaking, and the vapor is what's on fire, and it just keeps going. But it's very scary that took them out of the race, and that melted that bad. That was tough, but thankfully everybody was safe.
About
you could
bad
smell.
Luck.
They were in pit stall 36. Yeah. We're in pit stall 10, and you could smell it down there.
I smelt it in the car.
Yeah, it was bad. It was.
Well, I'm glad Daniel and everybody on the pit crew is safe. Nobody likes a fire. Fire's bad.
Yeah, no, it's not. Speaking of, they say where there's smoke, there's fire. You see the 16 car go up in smoke?
Yeah, grenaded that sucker. Oh. Something I heard went to the oil cooler, maybe?
It must have, because that's a lot of oil. Like the 48.
So the 43's got a tire. 16's blowing oil on the exhaust. I don't think that's a blown engine. I think that is a loss of oil pressure and oil being poured on the headers.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for SVG. Big news coming out that morning. Actually had breakfast with that fella on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
He brought Ronald.
Where'd you guys go?
We went to First Watch across the street.
If you want to see Corey LaJoie, go to First Watch.
Between the hours of 8 and 9:30. Every morning we're in Daytona.
I went to the Mexican restaurant next door there, and they had a painting of Dale Earnhart.
Put it up on the YouTube. Moist. Send him the picture.
I will. Yeah, it was like a
Dia de los Muertos.
Yes, it was like
Dale Earnhardt.
It was a Dios de los Dale, for sure. It was different. It says the 20 and the 78 had contact. Is that on pit road here? Oh, I watched this live.
Yeah, Macho Man coming in sliding.
Doink.
Doink. Oh no.
We were the next pit stall to the 20.
He tried to power slap him.
He tried the old power slap. Yeah, we're the next pit stall to the 20, and I'm watching, and I'm like, because we just skate out there. There we go.
Okay, so he was in between letting him go, kind of not, kind of letting him go.
I was wondering if he'd been a toe lane because he hit him right in the wheel, but it looks like he got away with it.
Oh no. Eek.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
It's twice that the 20s had issues pulling off pit road. We saw it at Richmond. We saw it here at Daytona. Rookie crew chief on the box calling them out. It doesn't take very much. It's not even a loss of focus. It's not even a mistake. It's just lack of experience, knowing who you're pitted around. And something like small as that can end your day. Luckily it didn't for the 20. He ended up, where did he end up? Third,
fourth, top 5, I think. BJ finished 19th. So they were able to just keep on going. Dogs of the week. I have got to give it to my training partners, the 21 team. We practice with them every week. Those are the guys that when I go to pit practice 3 days a week, they're the ones that we practice with. So it's us and them. And that is a brand new team. I don't know that any of them, I think collectively, maybe have 10 races that they've done.
So what do? They just do a couple ARCA races, couple truck races?
You don't do that anymore.
No.
None.
Right to Sundays.
Because you don't train for 5 lug nuts. So, Parks, the front changer, I don't know that he ever did a race before a Cup race.
Okay.
I'll list them off. Park Jones, their front changer. Justin Fox, rear changer. His dad, Raymond Fox, is our car chief. His grandfather's in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Really cool for them. Jordan Godine, he literally just got on the car 4 or 5 weeks ago. He's
Pretty
a
good
carrier. Ty Snelson is the Jackman. Absolute stud. Hell of a mustache.
It's a cool name, too. Ty Snelson.
Yeah, he's from Hot Springs, North Carolina.
Jeremy
Bowens. Blake Baker, fueler. He's the only one that's had experience that's been around. He is their veteran guy. And Jeremy Bowens, man. Shout out to Jeremy Bowens, Kirk Almquist, all the guys on that team, Kyle Belmont, for I think Bowens is maybe one of the best at taking a young group of guys or taking a group that's maybe underperforming or has their back against the wall and turning them around and
what do you think?
Having everybody
what do you think
that is? He's all in, man. He's he's not he's gonna come. I've had screaming matches with Jeremy Bowens, and
But it's coming from a place of wanting the best
of what he wants the best for you. Yes, it's not a place of he will be very tough and he'll be very hard on you, but it's from a place of him wanting the best for you and the team.
Yeah.
And he's won with Jeremy Bowens has won with every driver he's been with. Like I said, from the 22 Xfinity days to the 21, the first go around, the 12, the 2, back to the 21, and even back when he was at RCR. He's been around a long time. So shout out to those guys, man. I'm so happy for them. Our pit crew department has we have 5 Cup teams, but 4 of them are in the playoffs. And if the 38 could go out and win this week, man, that'd be huge.
He ran well there in the spring.
He did. And, Ryan Briganti, he was part of that 78 bunch. He is not scared. So I'm excited to help those young bucks navigate their first playoff run.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's Pit Road Boats and Woes and the dogs. We got some hashtag Penny for your thoughts questions this week. Seems we got a bunch of them. Fire away.
Let's roll through them. The first one: what is the weigh-in system for the drivers? I feel like most fans don't know what exists.
So I don't think prior to Danica any drivers weighed in. It was just for conversation purposes. The car weighs 3,400 pounds, and if it's a 200-pound driver, then the car weighs 3,600 pounds. Danica comes in with no driver weight limit at the time, and you've got Newman at 240 and Danica at 99, 100 pounds. If the car weighed the same, then Newman's car is 140 pounds heavier. So once she came in, NASCAR started weighing the drivers and then offsetting drivers' weights versus car weights. So, for example, if that's instance again, if there's a 100-pound driver, the car would weigh, I think it goes up to 240. So that's the range. So you weigh in at Daytona 1, and if you weigh in at 200 and you weigh in at 150, your car is going to weigh 50 more pounds when it rolls across the scales than mine. That way, hypothetically, when we both sit in the car, it's the same weight. Then you weigh in at Daytona too as well to make sure you don't fluctuate or they readjust you on 10-pound increments, 190 to 199, 200 to 209, and on down.
Were you heavier this time or last time?
I made myself almost sick in February, and I weighed 199.8.
So you didn't make it?
Didn't make the 200 cut.
Oh, man.
And fighting weight for me is like 192 to 194. So I didn't try to get to 200. I weighed 195.
Okay.
There are guys that put on 15 pounds over the course of about a month, knowing they have to weigh in.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's big, man. Getting weight out of these cars, you can't do anything to these cars, so 5 pounds is a big deal.
For sure.
Next question. Don't have to name them, but are you talking with any race teams?
Yeah.
Next question. Being a racer, are you also a car guy? If so, what's your dream 5-car garage look like?
I like that question. David Goes Racing. Yeah. I love cars. I think if I had to pick 5, so I've got. I haven't really started working on it yet. Actually, haven't at all. I've got a next-gen chassis. I've got all the suspension. I need to get motor and transaxle. I'm going to do a next-gen modified. So I have a body that my grandfather raced. It's a 1937 Ford sedan. So I'm going to put the Ford sedan body on a next-gen car, cut the cage, make it all fit, make it badass, make it kind of a track car. So that'll be one. I've got a 1970 Plymouth Barracuda. I'm doing a Hellcat swap on it at the moment. It's only been in the process of getting built for like 2.5 years. It will be completed one day. I would love a 1987 Buick Grand National, just like Bobby Allison drove. That is like my all-time favorite car. I don't get too excited about the GNX. I would just go kind of normal Buick Grand National, lower it down, put some cool wheels on it, and let it eat. I kind of love the new Corvettes. They kind of look badass. And we drove them last year at Indy on the road course, and those things are gnarly vehicles. So I think a ZR1 Corvette, the mid-engines, would be sick. Last one.
I feel like you've named 10 cars here.
I named 4.
I know. I'm like way low. Oh, your shoes got me like I'm way out there.
One more car. I feel like those are the only ones that I particularly desire. Oh, Aston Martin. I've always wanted to be James Bond, so like an Aston Martin Vantage, I'd be down for that.
Nice. Cool. Next question. Is that it? That's all of them? I have my 3 cars that I want, and I'm getting on a 4th. A street stock, a modified TQ midget, and then I'm going to get a 60s or 70s F100.
Yeah.
And then the 5th one, it'd just be whatever.
A Bugatti?
No.
I'm not. BJ McLeod?
No, I would go. I had my first car when I was in high school was a 84 Delta 88 boat Brogram 4-door on 20-inch Dayton spokes.
Hell yeah.
It was cool as hell. I'd probably just get one of them back. I don't need all the
bells and whistles.
Bells and whistles.
I don't know. Would you put
fans in the seat?
Would you put a star?
All that nonsense.
Oh, this is completely random, but I'm glad you brought that up. So
butt cracks?
Not butt cracks.
Okay.
Fans in the stands.
Okay.
So I went up. So this was the first speedway race Stefan had spotted. So I went up there on Friday, stood next to him. He spotted Joshua Lickey in the Xfinity race. I didn't know who 3/4 of the Xfinity garage was. I had to get the legitimately entry sheet to look at who's driving that
NASCAR
car.
app, man.
Well, I had my AirPods in so I could listen to him talk, right? And we were working on some things on Friday. And so a sound that I've never heard before that was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So, and this might be just cool only to me, but I'm up there, pace car pulls off, and the pace, they're rolling into the restart zone for the green flag, and all the fans stand up, and you hear all the chairs, and all that's all you hear is from everybody standing up, all the chairs flopping, and that gave me goosebumps, and I'm like, that's pretty badass. 'Cause I've never always been in it, you don't hear that sort of stuff, or I've never seen that point of view. So everybody, the fans are out of their seats. That was pretty cool.
Not only were the fans out of their seats, Lane Riggs' shoulder was out of its socket. That was tough.
Talk about going hard in the paint.
Yeah, that was tough. He said it's something that happens often.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh boy.
Dang. Oh, man, big pain. Ow. Oh, ow, guys.
He's trying to pop it back in.
Oh, no. Oh, somebody help me. Dude.
Oh, he pulled him by his arm. Don't do that. Don't pull that arm.
Oh, man. Congrats. First off, shout out to him. Congrats.
Ready?
There you go.
Ready? Yeah. Oh, there it is. Back in. Yep.
And then, yeah. Oh. That doesn't look. There it is. Got it.
Oh, there's thumbs up.
All right, guys. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, we won.
Man, that's tough. They've had a dismal year, so I was excited to see them win. Short track guy. Happy for him.
Yeah, been up, been down, gotten victory lane. Had a strong day. Shout out to him. Let's do a couple shout outs. Shout out to Lane Riggs. Shout out Parker Retzlaff. Shout out Cody Ware, P4.
Ryan Truex Jr. Let's go.
Let's freaking go. I texted him.
I texted him too.
Happy
he texted
as
me
hell.
back.
I don't think he texted me back.
What a nerd. Maybe he doesn't have a phone anymore. 609er, dude.
I'm glad he's carrying on the long hair tradition for a race car driver. He looks solid with that.
He looks like he looks like the kid from Jumanji.
He does.
That's
he does.
That's what
or
he
like a baby Tarzan.
Yeah, he just looks like a hairy fella. It's so funny too. Like I saw a video of like he was on the phone in Victory Lane and Martin come walking up to him. Martin was like, "Good job, butthead." He's like, "Thanks." They're like just so like stoic. They just no emotion. But I was super happy for Ryan Truex, and I know he's a South Jersey guy, so to win a Wawa race is a big deal.
Do you think they give out free meatball subs in Victory Lane?
No, but he probably went and bought one.
Yeah, probably.
Got penny stackers this week?
A lot of penny stackers this week. One, Kyle Bray from St. Augustine.
I stayed in St. Augustine on Saturday night. Shout out St. Augustine. Pretty cool town.
There was a Celsius appearance at the 7-Eleven down the street. There was probably 200 people there.
Dude, I walked into we were driving down Wednesday, and I went into the Buc-ee's in St. Augustine. And Larry Mack was in there.
That's what you said.
Just walking around. I saw him. Shout out to them. Jordan Anderson. He went
P6. Shout out to him,
Jordan
too.
Anderson. They finished top 6. Happy for Jar.
His energy's infectious. He was
Jordan?
pumped up. Yeah.
He's done it the hard way.
Yes, he has. We'd like to talk to him.
I think
we ought to talk to Jordan Anderson.
What other penny
Grew up
stackers
racing
you
with
got?
that fella. Little David from First Watch. He was wearing a Court of the Joy hat. Met him and his old man last year. So they went back because they figured they could probably see me there at First Watch. Well, they were correct. He got also a bonus because SVG and Jess were there as well. So he got a picture with SVG and I. Got some autographs. Kept them moving.
Nice.
And then funny stories. Working out with Casey this morning, he said that he went and ordered Chipotle up here in Kannapolis, and he goes through the Chipotle lane, I believe they call it. He puts it on to go, and the guy working behind the window saw the name, Casey LaJoie. Hands it to, hey, man, like you related to Corey? Goes, yeah, he's my brother. Man, I listen to Stacking Pennies every week.
Let's go.
Shout out to the fella at Chipotle doing the Lord's work.
That's right.
I might roll up there and get me a burrito just to see my man.
Let's go after this.
Let's do it.
I got one Matt Baronek. Baronek. You met him because you signed the pink car. He had a shirt with his dad on it, 49. That was really cool. His dad tried to make a start at Daytona. They got talking. They actually work at Disney.
Cool.
Animal Kingdom. So maybe bring the kids over there. So yeah, I had a lot of people. I had to go to the credential line. Credentials at Daytona sucks because you go to the building down the road. It's really long. It's tough. But they made quick work for us guys with the hard card. There was a lot of penny stackers in that line too. So it was good to see a lot of people there.
Yeah. A lot of people are listening. A lot of people are tuning in. Name drop right quick. As you guys have always seen in the backdrop, Tim Tebow jersey is my all-time favorite athlete, just not only because of what his accolades on the field, it's just how he carries himself off the field. So I shot him a text. We texted periodically back and forth. I gave him a helmet at Bristol several years ago, and he was there for Easter. And he was on my mind last several weeks, especially once, all the stuff came out, not going back to the team and a little bit of limbo. He's been there before, right? Denver won a playoff game. They cut him loose, goes to Philly, kind of bounces around, goes play baseball, and then he's like, you know what? Maybe I'm not supposed to be playing sports anymore. So I shot
Philly
him a
will
text.
do that to you.
Sports, pro sports will do that to you as well.
Pro sports in Philadelphia will do that to you.
Jesus, pro sports in general, particularly about Philadelphia. So I just shot him a long text, yada, yada, yada. And he sent another long text back with something that stood out that I wanted to tell you guys, because I feel like it does apply, right? Wondering what I'm doing, if the passion's still there, if you still like what you're doing, and you know, the self-doubt, all the things that we talked a little bit with Harrison Burton. Didn't really get into that so much, but all the stuff that you would imagine wrestling with in limbo. He said a bunch of things, right? Pray for clarity. But he said one thing that his dad used to ask him was, are you passionate about it, and are you willing to suffer for it? So that hit me like a ton of bricks. Are you passionate, and are you willing to suffer for it? That's a gut check that I always needed, and shows that in a lot of cases, yes. So I've been thinking about my career through that filter. Am I passionate about it, and am I willing to suffer for it? And the answer to both of those questions is yes. So we'll see what happens.
Well, good. I was hoping you weren't going to say,
no,
I'm actually going to go.
I'm suffering for it right now, but I still show up on Mondays and record this for y'all so you can listen. And he followed that up with Colossians 3:23, which is work as if you're working unto the Lord and not for man. So a little Bible verse from Timmy Tebow himself for you guys. What else we got? Kickball draft coming up Wednesday. I'm excited about that. Team Blaney, Team Stenhouse, Team Bubba, Team LaJoie. Drafting our squads. Kickball's coming up right around the corner. We're going to do a behind the scene. You're going to get there's going to be a, what do they call it? Silent auction type item where you can be behind the scenes right here in the Nonsense Garage. You can win that experience. Somebody did last year and had a good time as well. So welcome you to check that out. I don't know. I'll tell you where that's available in the coming weeks. But
even if you're not at the Kickball Classic, which you should be there, you can still log in.
Yep.
Put a link up, and you
got a lot of cool stuff. A lot of driver shoes, doors, sheet metal, and this experience to come hang out with us. And you also don't know who might pop in and be a guest that week too. So tune into that. Also tune into @_Stacking Pennies Instagram page for the Arctic Ice Cold giveaway. Tweet us your thoughts. Penny for your thoughts. Instagram. Are we even on Facebook?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think so.
Wherever we're at, just like, share, rate, review. Do all the fun stuff, whatever people say.
And then if you're listening to Sirius XM Channel 90, just keep your eyes on the road and keep it moving.
Yeah, and if you keep tweeting mean things about Corey, I'm going to personally give you a wedgie.
And I'll follow it up with a swirly.
Yep. That's what you get from us.
That's it. That's all I got. Have a great day. Don't get a wedgie. This is Stacking Pennies. Goodbye.